Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. This is episode 175, and today we're going to talk about pop tabs. Pop tabs on your beer. I'm just kidding. That's in reference to your video the other last week. I loved it, actually. I got a lot to talk about for that. But before I do, maybe this probably isn't a good topic to bring up, but you talked a little bit about Croatian beer, and then you touched on Ukrainian. But I did want to just give an out shout in a different way to the president of Ukraine, just because...
You can save it. Save
it?
All of segment 2 is Ukraine.
Okay.
We're doing
all of segment 2 is
We're
Ukraine.
doing 2 Ukrainian beers today.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well...
I don't want to I just...
No. I just
awesome
had it was more of an overarching comment about that. But I will comment on my feedback for episode 174. But first I'll say I was what did you call it? You said I was on assignment.
On assignment
in
did
Mexico,
you like that?
Cancun, Mexico. It was awesome. Loved it. Stayed at the Grand Resort, which is a palace resort, and it was awesome.
I didn't want to dox you.
No, it's
I didn't want to be like, oh, by the
it.
way, he's not at home.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that
that's what
I've not really considered that fact. I had before in prior conversations where I was like, oh, this person just said they're going on vacation, and I don't want to dox anybody, but there's one person close to both of us that does it all the time, and I'm like, oh, that's like bad OPSEC, but I've not considered that.
Yeah. So that's why I say
I appreciate that.
Because it's both cheeky and, it's just like, oh, why isn't JT here? Because we do so many video things.
Exactly. And you could probably, what was that CIA movie with Matt Damon a while back? Where they had...
when they started up the CIA?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite...
great movie.
Robert De Niro. It's actually a Robert De Niro movie.
Is it? Oh, okay.
The Good Shepherd.
The Good Shepherd. And so in that movie
2007.
They're going off of one photograph, and they have the fan blades, and that's how they find the hotel. I think you could piece together where we live by some identifying feature in our videos. Not saying that it would be easy.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if you had the resources to find out, like, the paint color, and then who makes that, when that paint was made, and then you had the resources to, like, check the receipts at some store for the last 20 years, you probably could figure it out. It'd be really, really hard, but that's the type of work these people do. So thanks. I appreciate not being doxxed. And I'm not going to go over too much because it's a beer podcast, and I did try all the beers they had.
How many?
I think they had 5 types.
Yeah.
One of them, I don't even remember what it was called. It's something with an M, and it wasn't Modelo, because I tried Modelo. That's my favorite Mexican beer. Corona Light, trash. This M1, trash. Then Modelo I liked. And there was one other one. Oh, they actually put Bud Light in your fridge, in your room.
Oh, gross.
And because it's all inclusive, you can drink from the mini bar. But we stayed mostly with hard liquor. Which I want to give an outshout, only one outshout for this whole thing, and it's not beer related. Irving, that's my guy right there. Irving was a bartender at the Swim Up bar.
Yeah. And
so Randy Orton and his family were at the same resort. We did not go together, but we were at the same place, so we did hang out often.
As you should.
Yeah.
It'd be odd. Hey, we're at the same one.
It would also be odd if you went on a family vacation and didn't do anything with your family. So I just want to make it clear that we did family stuff. That was in question.
Yeah.
But Randy Orton and I decided that on Tuesday we would just get absolutely... I was going to call you, but I was 7 sheets to the wind.
Yeah.
We were going to get blitzed. And we met this guy, Irving, who's the bartender at the Swim Up bar. And we decided to take a new approach. Instead of ordering what we wanted, we found some pretty good versions of... what are those mint ones called? How am I blanking on that?
Mint julep?
No, the other one.
A mint drink?
No, what the fuck is it called? Anyway, the clear one with the mint in it.
Mint julep?
No, it's the other one. Anyway.
Where they smack
Why
it?
the fuck?
They
smack it. What the fuck is this drink called? I'm totally blanking on it. We
Mojito.
ordered like 100,000 of them. And then I found there's someone made a great old fashioned, and the key to that is the orange. You gotta, if you don't, what do they call that?
Muddle it.
Muddle. If you don't muddle it well, then it's
I didn't realize you're an old fashioned
beverage.
drinker. This last week I probably spent $50 just on old fashioned ingredients.
No shit.
Yeah, it's because Stacy's a big old fashioned.
Well, instead of doing that,
just the ingredients, not even the booze.
Just the other ingredients,
like bitters and.
Oh wow! Did you buy the grinding thing?
No.
The muddle thing, muddler. So we decided instead, let's ask the bartender what they like.
Yep.
And that's where we met Irving. And Irving, man, what a party animal this guy was. Spoke pretty decent English, and he made something he called the almond sour.
Yeah.
Which is like you would think it'd be like an amaretto.
Yeah.
But it's not, almost at all.
No.
And I think he just wanted to get us fucked up. Imagine a Long Island iced tea with amaretto, basically.
Yeah. I
just
got a bottle
tons
of amaretto
booze
staring us in the eye right there.
Yeah.
Second shelf.
That's great stuff. And so he was putting like Johnny Walker and some rum in there and a couple other things. And boy, we lit that place on fire.
My go-to is electric. I like electric lemonades.
I never heard
had
of
a lot of those. It's it's vodka and lemonade, but they blend it. It's a frozen.
It's a frozen drink. Yeah. I had a couple of really good frozen drinks there too. The margaritas were excellent.
Yeah.
But this almond sour blew my mind, and I googled it. There's nothing like it with these ingredients that he was using. So he invented this drink, and then by the time we went from sober to completely fucked up, somewhere in there we had convinced him, or someone convinced him to line 30 drinks and do that domino thing.
Yeah,
and this. He did it.
Like the pour?
No, lined up a bunch of cocktail glasses, filled them with cocktails, then put shot glasses in the middles of all of them.
Yeah.
Filled those up, then knocked the first one over, and they knock all the shot glasses up. And then everyone down the line has to do it. So there was like all these like bros that had showed up somewhere in there. There was a Fish concert in town.
No shit.
Yeah. Yes. And so we called them Fish people while we were there.
Yeah, fish heads.
Yeah, we called them Fish people, but that works too. These bros showed up and like helped us drink all that stuff, but Irving was the man.
The interesting thing, and the only question I have, because you brought up Swim Up Bar and we didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Did you ever? Was it all inclusive in that the same people would be at the swim bar and they were drinking a lot and they wouldn't move for like 6 or 7 hours, and you know what's happening in the pool?
They know what's happening.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what's happening.
We were told, because we were getting out, and one of our special people that was helping us out, he's like, just pee in the pool, and we're like, what? He's like, it's all inclusive. So that was the joke with all the people that we met on our honeymoon, was they're like, oh yeah, it's just all inclusive. So it's just bubble and piss.
It is all inclusive, and the joke there is I have to take a walk, or I'm gonna take a lap, around the pool.
Oh yeah,
it's a big pool, so you could just kind of like swim off your seat, and then just like float around back here, and then come back. That's pretty much what everyone was doing.
That's hilarious.
I was always the guy who got out. Until maybe 18 months ago.
Yeah, so I never peed in a pool, and I was a swimmer.
I don't like it.
I never peed in a pool till my honeymoon.
Okay.
And it's just, to this day, it's just odd.
It's odd to me. I don't like...
I still haven't been...
I won't pee in someone's pool.
Yeah.
I will... No. Maybe a hotel pool that's being heavily filtered. But yeah, all-inclusive.
No, never in a hotel pool.
Yeah. It was awesome, and I know that Chuggalo Mom is probably like.
Yeah, then she went to Vegas.
Yeah, she went to Vegas.
And that's not doxing.
Isn't a place that I want to go, but we tried to take my mom doesn't even know this. She's like, I could tell she's like on edge.
Well, now
we didn't invite her to Mexico.
Oh.
But this was our family vacation, and yeah, the Ortons were there, and I'm like, but we did a family vacation. Anyway, we tried to take her on a all-inclusive vacation 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
2020. Not that she even knows. It was going to be a total surprise. So now you know, Mom.
So that was the Gatlin.
But she had agreed to watch my sister's dogs. And when we asked my sister, so you can blame Chuggalo and Nicole for this, Mom. She said, "Oh, Mom's already committed to So that's when you're
very deliberate about the pieces. You've said like 3 times.
When we said
we didn't plan. They just happened to be at the same resort.
No, it didn't just happen to. I mean, they knew that they actually had the Ortons had scheduled a different resort.
Yeah.
And we had found the Grand, and when we were like, oh, we're gonna go there. Then they changed the reservation.
Gotcha. Okay.
To there because it made sense.
It just seems like you're worried about Chuggalo Mom's lashback.
I'm worried that she thinks that we were not on a family vacation.
Oh.
That we were on like a friendscation or something.
Gotcha.
We were not. But I know that she wants to go on an all-inclusive vacation.
They're so fun.
They're awesome. And you know what, Mom? Eventually you will. I tried. And we're gonna try again sometime.
My attachment to your Chuggalo Mom and Chuggalo Nicole being in Vegas was my best friend and his wife, Chuggalo Mikey, went out to Vegas for a concert.
That's right. Which concert?
Our Lady Peace.
Okay.
And they don't come to the United States very much. They're a Canadian band.
Did I see them?
And they've been around forever.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I get a Snapchat that they're having pre-flight Mexican. To go to the concert, which I don't think that Mexican food is the best food to have.
Probably not.
When you're going to take a flight, but I was like, oh, that's why, wouldn't it be ironic that...
Wouldn't it be ironic?
They hooked up with, some of our biggest fans in Vegas.
Did they?
No, I just happened to say that.
Okay.
They have no history or anything with each other.
I didn't know if the pre-flight Mexican was going anywhere.
No, I just that's the only that's how he told me he was going, because I was under the impression that we were going to hang out, because I was flexing Friday that we were going to hang out digitally on Thursday. But it's hilarious. I'm glad that he was able to do that.
Yeah. So we're sightseers. My wife and I, and I have a sneaking suspicion that my mom's a sightseer, but because my sister likes the Vegas atmosphere.
Yeah. Party.
Yeah, my mom. I think she puts on a face for that. Not that she's lying to my sister or anything. My mom likes to party. But she went to Hoover Dam. That's what we would do if we went there, and we'd probably be like, all right, we're done here. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't like to party. Unless we're partying in a swim-up pool in Mexico, where it's all-inclusive.
Interesting.
And it's not a bunch of... I guess I'd say it's not a bunch of bros, but we were partying with bros, I guess. Everything that I was anti this.
It's interesting that you're calling, the fish heads bros. Because,
they were acting like bros, and maybe they weren't fish people. But there's 3 concerts. I don't want to spend too long on it. There's 3 concerts.
Yeah.
In a row, 3 weekends in a row at the Palace Resorts.
That's awesome. So you don't
Dave
have to
Matthews
leave the
Band.
Yeah.
They were there when we got there. Now when we scheduled this vacation, we did not know these concerts were happening. Yeah. I don't even think they were. Dave Matthews Band first weekend, then Fish, then I can't remember the last. It was supposed to be the dead, the remainder of
what's
Grateful
left
Dead.
of the Grateful Dead.
I can't remember what they call themselves, but
that's like the 3 biggest jam bands in the world.
Yeah. So, but I'd say the bros are most likely.
I'm not trying to rush you because
no, it's fine. They're probably holdovers from the Dave Matthews side, because I'd say they have more bros than Fish.
Yeah,
Fish has a lot of dirty hippies.
Yeah, that would be on par with what I think. So what I'm pouring here is a porter, so that's why I'm very curious on seeing what it is. But it's a European porter. Do you have anything more you want to?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Keep going.
I'm not going to cover everything. All my notes I had. So first, that MEDVJED or whatever that word was.
The golden
bear. I looked
bear.
it up. It's pronounced Medvid.
Yep.
Medvid.
It means the golden bear.
Does it? The golden bear. Medvid. So the J is totally silent, and the ED, it's more of it's like V apostrophe D. Medvid.
Which was on the bottle.
Oh, it was. I feel like that's something that you would have got me on. Was pronunciation.
Look at that.
Yep, there it is. So I looked up the pronunciation.
That was
Zlatani.
That was a 10 o'clock, 9:45 in the morning, Monday morning when I did that.
And then you did the whole wheat thing, and I was like, just get a flashlight.
It is Zlatany.
Yeah. So that was feedback, and then the last piece of feedback was.
I did get up and leave, but I kept talking.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and it was crystal clear.
That's having good technology.
Last comment was art on the cardboard one was awesome.
Oh, on the Drecker?
That's just, we could have a whole nother.
I still have all three of them.
We can have a, what are they called? What are those things called?
Just rings.
Rings. We can have a can art or a ring art boner segment too. That's it. That's all my feedback. I had some on the plastic one, but it's not important.
Yeah, that happened to come out of one of the 450s. But I'm gonna maybe next week or whatever. I'll just stick up how many, because I still haven't donated them. It would probably obfuscate you.
Yeah.
Probably your face. How many of them I have?
People would probably like that.
Stuck under there. Well, they've said about both of us that we definitely have a face for radio.
You could put googly eyes on it.
Yeah.
And it could talk like me. Yeah. Face for radio.
Just smash cut back and forth. But so, anyways, while we were going through the stories, and we're gonna talk more and interweave them, we're drinking Levesque Porter. It's an 8%. So
wow.
If you're following Ukraine or anything, that's why I put a huge stop on the 2 beers that I was going to do last week. I only wanted to do one last week, and I was like, I think I have 2 Ukrainian beers, and sure enough, I wanted to do them with JT, and sure enough, even in the 8 days since I did episode 174, a lot more has changed. So Kiev is the capital. The second largest city is Lviv. That's where this beer comes from, and it's Lvivske. So I'm going to spell it Lvivske, and it's just called porter. So it's an 8% porter. They've been brewing since, JT, if you guess the century, I will reward you.
If I guess the century that they've been brewing since.
Yep.
This specific brewery?
This specific brewery.
I'm going to guess the... the fact that you're asking that means it's got to be an interesting century. I'm going to say the 18th century.
That's actually correct, yeah. So it's 1715. They are bought as a part of the Carlsberg group. So if you know anything about in Europe, Carlsberg... And if you go to their website, so it's Carlsberg, Ukraine, but because of the current events, you might not have a lot of success getting through or getting that domain to resolve. So you can go to carlsberg.com, and Carlsberg has all 689 beers that they oversee on it. So then you can go by brewery, and again, this is Lvivske, so it's Lvivske.
Yep.
This is during the USSR, they were owned by the Soviets. It's the number 1 producer of beer by volume in all of Ukraine. It's in the western part of Ukraine. And in Ukraine, much like a lot of things right now, this is a very much of a symbol of pride in Ukraine is this beer.
This beer specifically.
This line of beer. And they only do, so it's not like American breweries. What I found, they only do 6 different kinds of beer. And they're highlighted mostly by the types of beer that they are. So this happens to be a porter. And this is not an American porter. It's very thin. And we'll go into that in a little bit. It doesn't pour like the motor oil. Porter in the United States elicits so many things, even in Germany, but it doesn't here. So again, that's and this is brought to you by again Chuggalo Emmanuel. So Chuggalo Emmanuel loves these our reviews of these Eastern European beers, and he goes, "There's going to be more coming."
Wow!
So and I've got multiple podcasts worth, but it's poignant to talk about what everything that's happening in Ukraine, and it's just. Serendipitous that we have 2 Ukraine beers to do at this point in time in history in March 1st, 2021.
Yeah, that's 2022.
2022.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting cross of time to do these beers. Very, very coincidental, I think, there's some intentionality to it, though, right? That you had other beers to choose from, but you chose Ukrainian ones because of the current events.
I'm out of space in my fridge.
Holy
right now,
shit,
so.
Man! You're just getting hooked up. I hope that he's receiving something in return.
We hang out quite a bit, and now that he's no longer my boss, it's easier to impart on him gifts. Good. Generousness.
Some Wisconsin cheese.
Yeah, some Wisconsin cheese.
Some of that aged cheddar. So I heard you talk about the beer, but you did not review it yet, right?
I didn't review it.
I did hear you talk about the viscosity. Okay, so first things first. I was singing on the way over here. I've been keeping up. I've been reading about a lot of this stuff, but we're both at least veterans, if not are still active. But the word patriot I've never liked. But if there's a good example of what it means to be one, it's the president of Ukraine. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
We all see memes, and that's how a scary amount of percentage of the United States takes in their news. They don't read articles, and we're headline focused. So I hate and I'm trepidatious in the fact that I'm going to mention a meme. But one of my favorite things that I've seen in the last week is things you can see from space. The Great Pyramids, the Amazon River, the Grand Canyon, and President Zelensky's balls.
Yeah, essentially.
And I love that.
I love it too.
It's the exclamation point of the Ukrainian response to this attack.
Because we talk about wearing a flag or all these fucking like I don't know. I call them like motard shirts. I don't personally wear all of the like whatever they're called, 9-line or apparel from military veterans and stuff, and they all have the backwards flag, the charging flag on the sleeve. They're patriots. These guys are patriots. Wear the flag, you're a patriot. This guy was tested, and he exceeded the test. He surpassed any score you could even get on the test.
Yep.
He stayed in. He's fighting. And the funny thing is, to me, and I'll talk about the beer in a second. Personally, I have a feeling that Putin is sick, and he's trying to cement some legacy, some long-term legacy. He wants there to be like Putinism, like a Leninism, Stalinism. He wants to be a part of that lineage. And in doing so, has created Zelenskyism. This guy has become Ukraine. Mm-hmm. If they don't change the name to Zelensky after this, he's that big of a folk hero now, and a real one. It's funny. That's just like Putin's probably. That's just my assessment. Is he's setting out to be a hero or some sort of legacy, and he's created one in the process.
Can you imagine? Since we're talking about it, and we're drinking beer, so it's great talk. So both Klitschko's, one's the mayor of Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, and the other one's a close advisor, or whatever. So both Klitschko's, 6'10"-ish, former world heavyweight champions, and they're fighting in defense of Kiev.
Are these the twin guys?
Yeah. No, they're not twins.
No,
they're separated.
These guys were they were boxing for like 10 years, right?
So after Lennox Lewis, then it was the Klitschko
it was these
era.
Guys, yeah.
And they both since retired. And then the funny thing is, so you see Vladimir, he was with Hayden Panettiere, who is the cheerleader from Heroes.
That was his wife?
Yeah, so they were married. Yeah, so that's like...
No shit.
Aaron and Karina are different in size, but Hayden is shorter than Karina, and Vladimir's got like 100 pounds on Aaron. But they were married for like 6 or 7 years.
I had no idea. I know he was like in entertainment.
So that's probably the biggest like differentiation I've ever seen in like a couple, and probably a famous couple. So anyways, they're fighting Kiev. Imagine like you're a Russian infantry or conscript or a Belarusian conscript, and you come around the corner and you run into a Klitschko. Yeah. I'm surrendering.
Yeah, right.
I'm running
and
away.
His friends, even if his friends are less talented, he's surrounding himself, I'm sure, with well-equipped
He's not surrounding himself with like you and I. Like, no, they're like,
if you
real,
don't
like,
shoot
men.
him, you're going to lose.
So
that's your only defense.
I just like, that's the type of people that are defending. So in my mind,
and you don't want to. You hope that it doesn't get out of control because, let's be honest, it is David versus Goliath, and that story in the real world, Goliath just like puts his force on.
Right.
So you hope that doesn't get to that case, but. We are where we are, and I just like to use the term patriotism because patriotism is politicians act patriotic, but this guy is not a politician. He was a comedian who ran for president. The dude's patriotic. That's what it is. That's patriotism.
He was the voice of Paddington the bear. I mean,
was he really?
Yeah.
Like in the movie or a cartoon?
In the cartoon, but like I believe it was the Ukrainian dub for it. But he was
the Ukrainian dub.
Yeah.
Okay. So this beer, I've had an internal conflict with you that maybe you didn't even know about since the beginning of this podcast, where my icy porters as the light roast version of a stout. They're lighter. They're usually easier to drink. I don't see the motor oil version, yet we get a lot of it. We do. So I admit that I'm wrong on most cases. This more aligns to what I think a porter is supposed to be. It's so light. It's very easy to drink. It's almost watery. It's not watered down. It doesn't taste like water. It is watery in that it has a refreshing feel to it. When you drink it, you don't get that burned malt dryness and bitterness. The only other time I've had a few porters that were light like this. I think Crooked Handle's peanut butter porter does light well, even being peanut butter and a porter. It's like two thick things that go together. And you know who did it wrong was Yingling.
With which one?
The Hershey.
Oh, okay.
I did not like the Hershey porter, but that's not because...
That beer is ordered by people when I go back to Wisconsin. I have to find it.
It's ordered. Yeah, same thing for Illinois. But I think it was too thick. And a Hershey's chocolate is unmistakable. For at least someone like me who loves chocolate. I know when I'm eating Hershey's chocolate, and that beer did not taste like Hershey. I was disappointed. But this beer is excellent. It's very refreshing. It's super light. You could see right through this porter, which is not a common attribute of the porters we drink. Like Matt said, American porters probably come in a lot darker. I would definitely put this beer in that part of the world. Just based on all of the Pilsners that come out of that area, the Pivos of the world. Not that this is in that range.
Are you reading my notes?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Remember Pivo.
It's so light. Well, you said Pivo a couple times last week. And so it was like in my head.
Put a push pin in there.
And you always make fun of Pivo because I brought like the Pivo beer.
The Polish Pivo.
Yeah. But this beer is very excellent. I really like it. Man, if there's not a summer porter, this is definitely it. Even though I'm sure it's cold in Ukraine. I don't know. What's the weather like in Ukraine? What's it similar to? Canada?
Boreal, not temporal boreal. So continentality. So it's in the middle. So very similar to the upper Midwest.
Oh, okay.
So they're going.
So they have a summer.
They're going through their thaw right now. There's no joke when they say it's the breadbasket of Europe. It's by far, and that came into play during World War II.
The first glass of this I basically drank without even noticing I was drinking it.
Yeah.
I just chugged it down.
The rest.
I like it. I want it. Do they sell this in the United States?
I believe
that's... Yeah, well, they got the states on the back. So.
Yeah, it's imported by a place in South Carolina.
I'm giving it... Man, I'm tossed between... I'd say 4.75 on this.
That's high praise.
It's high praise. I liked it. I really liked it.
This is so many things, and it does so well. This is both rich, smooth, and light.
Yeah.
Those words in typical American beer, because of how it's gimmicked up, don't go together. I feel like this has a widespread appeal. I feel like I could give this to Chuggalo Dave, who's our swill drinker, but drinks craft beer, seeks craft beer out, but knows his 10 and 2, knows his safety spot. Mm-hmm. I'll probably get some feedback on that, but I welcome it. This is a safe beer to give to the masses. It's not, as I said before, it's not a typical American porter, but it's a Baltic Porter, which is a style of beer which makes it thinner in appearance, but not on the palate. Off the top rope, this is a 4.25. This is the best European beer that we've had. Definitely Eastern European beer. And it's going to be hard pressed because I think they do it so well but instead with like last week's Golden Bear, it was very ho-hum. It was very like I said, Carlsberg-y or Heineken-y, what you expect when you have that German or that Dutch Pils.
So Cobra had Guinness as his top European beer. Guinness in Europe.
Yeah, Guinness there.
Have you had it?
Guinness there?
Guinness in Europe?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is better?
That was like more of like what it represented. Like it was good. It was like the last beer we had before we were going to a place we didn't want to be for a little bit. Yeah. I mean, gosh, that.
All right, let's go blind. If you just had it, if you could imagine it, you had it. So you said this is probably the best European beer we've had. Yes, on the podcast, absolutely. Yeah. I agree. Is it the best European? What's the best European beer you've ever had?
I don't know. That's why I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Now,
I don't want to say that. I don't want to put this in.
I've added columns now into the spreadsheet that should have been there, where I'm putting alcohol percentage and I'm putting type of beer, which should have been there. And maybe I'll get bored one day and I'll go back and fill that in because I like lists and it's just that part of the brain.
I don't know.
We haven't had that many. I mean, Cobra's brought a couple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't had that many on the show.
But I'm thinking of like
that many.
I've been in Romania a few times. I've been in Germany. Like Dunkel Black Label is a good representation of. Mm-hmm. But it's been quite a while since I've had it. I don't know.
What's that one that Dr. really likes with the elephant?
Delirium?
Delirium. Is that European? That's European, right?
So I have some Delirium in the fridge too.
Yeah.
Some Noel Delirium. So we're going to have to get to it soon because it's actual like Christmas.
Oh, it's Christmas beer. Okay.
Yeah. But it's got some elephant on it. But like Chimay is another one.
Chimay, yeah.
Now.
But these are like Coke now. They're brewed locally.
The best European beer, I'd be remiss. I've had a Westie. This last summer I had from the Trappist monks.
Oh, yeah.
So that's by far. But on the podcast, I think this is the best European.
Okay.
So I'm glad you brought up that qualifier. But yeah, otherwise I think it was a Westie. I think it was a 16. Somebody would have to check that out.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Wow. So high praise on that beer. So the second beer, and since we've got the Eastern European expert over there, I'm going to let him pronounce this name. Uh-huh. So JT, give both of those a shot.
Oh, yeah, okay. I did not look at the pronunciations for these, but these letters...
Yeah.
They're special. I'm gonna say Holipko?
Nailing it.
Is that it?
Okay.
What is it?
So this is Plota Pivo.
Plota Pivo, that's how you pronounce that?
No, that's the brew.
Oh, okay.
That's the brewery.
I was like, what?
And this is Zhug Holzevska.
Interesting because Zh is Z with a thing over it.
I'll spell it.
With the H with the line through it.
Plota Pivo. So Plota Pivo.
You don't have to spell that.
That's the brewery. But Zhigulevsko.
Zhigulevsko.
Zhigulevskoe.
Oh, there's a English letter version of this?
Yep, so it's right up on the top.
Oh, so I was reading this down here.
Yep.
The H thing.
Yeah, that's what you were reading.
Yeah.
So,
lots of backwards letters.
You can find out more, not right now because this website is completely down, from beer.platapiva.ua. So you can understand why that's down right now. But they get an amazing website review. This place...
You got to it.
No.
Okay.
But the fact that they have a website.
The fact that they have a website.
This is a pale lager 5.2. This is one of the cooler bottles.
Oh yeah.
That we've done. This is very unique. Both these are a pint.
You remember the keg can from Heineken?
Yeah.
That looks like that.
But it's freaking ribbed.
It's real choded.
Like you can fit two. You can almost put a baseball grip on this. It looks like they're gonna get their heads out of their fucking asses and figure that out. But there's going to be a lot of bodies.
Ooh, we could talk about that for hours.
On MLP, yeah. The alcohol will help that. So I'm going to go with the crack on this one. So the Ev is the far western part of Ukraine, so it's much closer to the rest of Europe. This brewery is just 35 minutes or 35 miles southeast of Kiev. So
35 miles southeast.
Along the Dnieper River.
That's good. Southeast seemed to be... last map I looked at, there was no red there. Red is Russian.
Yep.
There was no red there.
So there's other places that the Russians may
lots of border areas
may be concerned with first. So again, this is however you want to pronounce it, but you can find out more from. This is very pale. This is a pale lager, 5.2, and when it comes up and the world goes back to normal, beer.platapiva.ua, which UA is the suffix or the extension for Ukraine, which I would have never guessed.
I didn't know that either.
UK.
Yeah.
Obviously UK.
UA is the country code.
Would probably be Uruguay.
Yeah, probably.
You can't do UN.
Or Uranus.
Yeah.
Ukraine. Yeah, you can't do UK. Yeah.
So you're running out of letters there really quick.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they are not... hopefully that does not change to RS. But time will tell, and we'll see what back to normal looks like.
But again, so this is, however you want to pronounce it.
What type of beer is this again?
This is a pale lager, 5.2%.
Pale lager. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This beer...
I feel like I can get down with Ukrainian beers.
I can get down with the first one. This one...
very different. I'm glad we did them. I purposely did it in that way.
Okay. I do like this bottle. It's a great bottle. Great for Molotov cocktails. So if you're in the area, this is a good one. It's thick, very throwable, grenade-like almost.
It's very European in the fact that it's thicker bottles they want you to recycle. There's probably been a lot of people, and that's something that I hope that these aren't the last couple of beers that come from this this wonderful country.
Mm-hmm. Zhigulevsko.
That's probably going to be the title for this episode. Zhigulevsko.
I don't know. That's a hard title.
Zhigulevsko. Sweet.
Probably Hayden Panettiere should be the title.
Hayden Panettiere.
Because people will
just blew your mind.
People will listen and watch because it's a video as well, and they'll be like, "Whoa, a video on Hayden Panettiere! I'll watch that."
Yeah. Yeah, because Emmanuel has said, and I'm not doxing him. He goes, "Put the beer title and you'll get more clicks." I don't know if I put these beer titles in there, Emmanuel. What the fuck is that?
We could put Ukrainian beer, and maybe people will be like, "Oh, how timely." So there's a tinge of spice in this, not spiciness, spice from your spice cabinet.
Coriander.
It might be coriander. It reminds me of Mad Elf's Christmas beer. Mad Elf, I guess, is the name.
Crazy,
doesn't it?
No, it's crazy that you pulled that out of the Rolodex of flavors.
Yeah,
in your
that has
memory.
Because that's the most distinct Christmas I've ever tasted in a beer. That beer, I have regrets and enjoyment about that beer, because the first time I drank that beer I gave it a 5. I did, and we talked about it, I think, either offline or on the podcast, and I had it again. It elicited the exact same emotions, but I hated it, so I no longer think it's a 5. This beer's in between the loving the Mad Elf and hating the Mad Elf. Did they change that recipe year to year, or is it the same? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Who is that? Mad Tree, right?
No, for Trogs is Mad Elf.
Trogs is Mad Elf.
I believe. That's what I had at Tanks at 7 o'clock.
You had a Mad Elf?
No, I had Trogs.
Trogs. So this beer, I mean, it's got that same taste. Yeah, coriander's a great descriptor.
I just brought that. Yeah, I just. Brought
Is it?
I'm just thinking.
Cloves. We've talked about cloves before, and is this? It's basically the lager version of Mad Elf. If you liked Mad Elf, you'll like this because this is the light version of that, and it's not distinctly European. It is not distinctly, whatever we call that Baltic region. It doesn't have any personality stamp from that region. It tastes like beer that has ingredients in it. That's how I describe it.
Apparently, this is a very popular name for a beer. So, like, there's even an untapped, like, Zhugalovsky. Yeah, Skoy.
I think this beer is...
I don't think this brewery will reach out to us, though, and correct us on it, like Corporate Ladder. Or
you never know.
Your cousin...
What if this episode of the Brew Crew podcast becomes, like, the most listened to... What if this is the rallying cry of the Ukrainians? And they're like... we love JT and Matt, and we love the story about Mexico, and we love the patriotism conversation, and we love the porter.
That's everything you've done. I like it.
Yeah, it's all I remember.
Holy shit. I think I got it right. Emmanuel, you'll have to correct me.
You'll have to correct him. I'm at
He'll tell me he doesn't speak Ukrainian, though.
I'm at a 3.0. That's my score. What do you think?
All right. So I enjoy this beer. These beers are separate, but I wish they were equal. This is, God.
Separate but equal.
Because I enjoy them so much, but they should be considered separate. This could be my new Miller Lite Bud Light. I wish
I'm not in the same.
This is.
I don't agree.
This is fucking fantastic.
Love the bottle.
It comes in at a 5.2.
You know what I didn't do? Any can art. I totally forgot.
I didn't, because I was looking at it. It's like, oh, there's things to talk about. It's not like the Golden Bear. That's why I'm glad I brought it back out. But I feel like this one, and I'm gonna ask Emmanuel if he ever sees this one again to buy up a case for me, because I think this is a conversation like have people over and just hand them this. It feels amazing.
The bottles.
I love the Molotov cocktail, but it's a tasty fucking beer. I enjoy the shit out of this
all
beer.
pints should be like this because this is very manageable.
It takes the stank off of like the European lager. It's pale in the United States. When you put pale in a beer, that elicits like Dale's Pale Ale.
Dale's Pale Ale.
Or like Rolling Rock or something like that. This is better than both of those beers.
I don't think of Rolling Rock in the same.
But the fact
of like Oscar.
But
anything.
Oscar Blues, yeah.
Like Dale's Pale Ale is a craft beer.
I like this beer.
It's a craft beer, even if it's not.
Off the top rope, I give this beer a 4.0. This beer has a place in my heart, and this could become a daily drinker. I love it. I don't know what it is.
It'd be interesting to find out what is a daily drinker in Ukraine. Is it this? This might be it. This might be their Miller Lite, and we're getting it in a pint because it's an import.
Yeah.
Although
people complain about these
pints
beers
of Bud Light in Mexico.
People complain about these beers too because they're like, like on Beer Advocate, because I'm trying to find information like when the website doesn't work, and they're like, this beer is a 2.25 and it probably had a hellish journey or whatever. Like, I try not to hold that against it. Not that I have a Cicerone quality palate or anything like that, but the fact is
none of those people do. Come on.
This is extremely drinkable. They're a keyboard warrior. We just happen to have a meddling podcast.
That bothers me. What he said just bothers me about these fucking people.
But they go.
Listen, this bottle is
they're like the pretentious, like
made. Yeah, they're pretentious because they're fucking idiots. Like they think they know everything, but they know nothing. Not only is this beer
as a disclaimer, I know nothing.
So the only like proven scientific skunkerator of beer is light.
Yeah.
And so not only are these bottles kept in boxes and those boxes are kept on pallets inside crates.
Yeah.
When they're shipped, these bottles are made to prevent that light penetration. So a hellish journey means absolutely fucking nothing. This whole like cold brewed thing or the cores never being warm thing, it doesn't fucking matter. Cores is cores. It tastes the same.
But gimmicks are what attract people.
Gimmicks attract people, but they should not. But if you are a smart beer advocate, you should not be fooled. The journey of this beer does not ruin the beer unless someone literally put it on their dashboard and drove it here.
I'm gonna say definitively, out of the beers I've had from Eastern Europe, Ukraine is the best.
So far, I agree.
As far as a country.
So far, they are. We have not had a lot of English or Irish beer, and I feel like those individuals would have something to say.
Eastern European.
Eastern European. Okay, I skipped that part of your statement. Yeah, 100% Eastern European.
And there's more to come. But I don't have two of any one country left.
We do need more Polish beer because I think Poland needs to defend itself. What they've done for Ukraine has been otherworldly.
That's just, as a historian, Poland needs to defend itself.
I thought it would be France that would be get the laugh. But in the lead up to this, Poland took in a lot of people.
Oh, they did, and they continue to.
They continue to. So good on them. Let's have some good Polish beer. If you're Polish or you're Emmanuel, see if you can find some.
Yeah, Emmanuel.
Where's he getting this beer? I didn't even see these beers at Jungle Gyms because I had to pick these up.
No, his honey hole I think is in Cleveland when he goes and sees his family.
Well, you're killing it.
So Emmanuel, international correspondent #1. That's your title.
Oh man, we should get him on. He could be our. We should do like one of those like go-tos where he's like even if he's in the room, he's on his own screen.
Yeah, I got a microphone. It's like a frozen microphone.
Yeah, I'm here in the European division of the Brew Crew podcast.
Yeah, but it's like in the shower.
Yeah, it's really echoey.
Just randomly turn on the shower too, like when he's talking. Emmanuel, please hook me up and I can reciprocate kindly.
Reciprocate kindly. That's all anyone ever asks.
Yeah,
it's kind reciprocation.
Gosh, these were dynamite.
All right, I don't know how much time we have left, but
hit me with it.
Your mile-high baseball comments. Baseball labor union dispute.
Oh, 10,000-foot view, yeah.
10,000-foot view, but because I'm trying to talk time-wise. Mm-hmm. What did I say?
Mile high.
Mile high?
So I thought you were like taking me to Denver.
Like your cliff notes.
Yeah, my quiff.
Your queef notes.
My queef notes, my cliff notes.
Cliff notes on the labor dispute.
The rich get richer, and I don't like that they're gutting the farm system. I don't like that either. I had the ability to. We're both close with somebody that works for a farm system, but talking it through with my father-in-law, who's a very reasonable individual, he said with the up and coming of other leagues, like where we're from, they have the Northwoods League. And they can pluck players from that. Like Max Scherzer pitched in the same town professionally as my wife went to college in. But Major League Baseball doesn't have to pay anything for those leagues.
Yeah.
So like they can develop them just not through their process, but they can have a high quality development, and it doesn't cost these Major League teams a dime. Mm-hmm. So I see more teams end up. It's all gimmicks to get the owners more money or whatever. It sounds like they're gonna go until they get a deal, because no one makes any money, and it's like what we say about contracting. This is gonna be my last thought. You can make $200,000, but if you have 0 days of work, you make zero.
You make zero, yeah.
So it's important to work, and they know they have to get out there and put a product on the field. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts? You're way more educated than me in this entire realm. So, and this is your sport.
It's my sport. I don't want to piss anyone off, but I'm going to make a political statement that I don't necessarily disagree with or agree with, but I think that it's the case. I think this is the case. I think that we've spent a lot of time in our country, in media, talking about the disparity between the rich and the poor. And I think it's a worthwhile conversation to have. In this instance, arguing that the players should have an equal takeaway from this negotiation, to me, and again, I don't want to piss anyone off, is fucking crazy. Yeah. The owners own the teams. Yes, they're rich assholes. And they're fucking assholes. But they should come away with the better side of the deal. They own the fucking teams. The players will or will not be their career. If you want to negotiate like career-long benefits into your collective bargaining, that's cool. Be Bobby Bonilla. But to continuously put out the baseball Twitter, it just pisses me off. To keep putting out how fucking evil the owners are. Like, if you owned the team, just put yourself in those shoes. You're giving concessions. The minor league thing sucks. You're giving concessions, but you should walk away with the better deal. You're the owners. It shouldn't be like so lopsided.
Right.
That it's crazy. But I don't think this whole the players should always win the negotiation. That mindset is stupid. And it should not be the case. And it won't be the case. In the end, it won't. That's not how this is going to shake out. But I have come up with a solution. If you want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'll be quick. My league. It's the JT Baseball League. JTBL.
Yeah.
Every player makes $1 million, no matter what. Your team can only be comprised of players whose last non-professional residence that they had prior to becoming a professional ball player. So that'd be college, high school, or anything before minors for future players. Your team is the closest in distance, bird's eye, because that's Euclidean. It's very important that we define that as geographers.
Yeah.
Euclidean distance it's the closest team. If you're, let's say you're in New York, you got a couple teams there, and you have 6 highly skilled catchers. Sorry, there's 2 teams here. You got to figure it out. And I know that sounds harsh. But you can make up a team of what's the roster? 25 guys?
Yeah.
Your roster's 25 guys. They're only can be pulled from the areas that are closest to you. And that's it. And the international players are raffled randomly.
Interesting.
And they stay in their lifetime. You get them and they're like no one gets traded. There's no trades, no free agencies. Everyone makes $1 million. You don't like it? Tough shit. But you know what will happen? This is my opinion. Local development. Money will be spent in a local. So like if the Cubs are fucking trash because no one from Chicago or the Illinois, like that radius around Wrigley Field or Comiskey, whatever the park's called now.
Guaranteed rate.
If no one's good enough in that radius, you know what they'll do? They'll start funding high school baseball. They'll start building stadiums in underserved areas. You'll have all this baseball development, and now, holy shit, Illinois baseball is legit. See what I'm saying?
Interesting.
And then a little raise every year. So you make $1 million this year. Everyone makes $1 million. Nobody makes more than anyone else. So Mike Trout makes the same as, whoever.
So you kind of so like with San Diego, just in this, you kind of fuck them because they can't go south because that's an international player.
You can't. That's true.
Yeah.
You do fuck them. But there's a lot to pull from in Southern California.
Yeah.
And maybe it would, and I'm not saying my league has the same teams.
Yeah.
Maybe San Diego doesn't exist. Maybe San Diego goes to Vegas, and now you have the Dodgers and the Las Vegas Padres.
But then the Angels too. So
yeah, so like I'm saying my league will have differences, and you could even just go, it's a 50-team league. you're from the state, if you're from within the...
Oh, my goodness.
The problem with that, though, is, and I've been explaining this to my data science friends, state boundaries are not statistical boundaries. They're political boundaries. So they don't represent something, whereas, I don't know if you want to get into the U.S. Census, but the tracks and the block groups represent statistical areas.
Yeah.
You'd need something like that to be drawn. Squares in the country that represent statistical areas where it's equal. And then you have a new league. But that's not my point. My point is get a deal done. It's just, I don't like where we're at. I don't like where we're at with baseball right now. You can't afford to strike. You can't afford to lose a lot of the season.
And again, they met till 2 a.m. yesterday, and they're going to meet till they get a deal.
Their media, their online media, whoever's managing that is the worst.
Can we all agree Rob Manfred is a douchebag?
But it's not just Rob Manfred. It's also the guy before him, Bud Selig.
He should be, though.
The blackout rules, the MLB.TV rules... Come on already. You should be able to just watch a fucking game if you want to. It's the internet era.
If I pay for an app,
and you can't watch a game,
fucking blacked out.
It's so ridiculous. And they don't have highlights until like 100. Like a year later, you can't see highlights. Yeah. The only people that get to put highlights are ESPN, John Boy, and a couple other media outlets. You gotta have highlights like immediately. Look at the NBA. If LeBron James dunks on somebody, it'll be available on Twitter in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
From right now. The baseball's so far behind. It's crazy. There's so much wrong with baseball. But I love it. It's my favorite sport.
Drives us to drink. And again, that's the full circle. I know we're not all baseball fans or whatever, but we're here to bring drink to the masses.
Mm-hmm. And if you're in Ukraine and this is your favorite episode, well, welcome. Welcome to the Brew Podcast, the Ukraine episode.
Welcome.
That's not the name. Just saying it's the episode.
The Ukraine episode. But that's all I have in a nutshell. JT?
Yeah.
Closing thoughts?
My nutshell is empty.
Hayden Panettiere.
Hayden Panettiere.
Smoking.
Yeah, my son's looking for new shows to watch. He's a teen, still watching like tween stuff. And I suggested Heroes. I think he'd like it.
Heroes was good.
He liked Cobra Kai. He loved Cobra Kai.
Did you guys watch Goldberg's? I love Goldberg's.
Oh yeah, Goldberg's is great, but
that's because of what we grew up in.
He said, I want to see a show where there's like 5 minutes of talking and then a bunch of fighting and then 5 minutes of talking. So he wants to see Cobra Kai. So if anyone has any suggestions for a 14-year-old,
put them down below.
Put them in the comments section and subscribe.
March 18th.
March 18th. Oh yeah, I didn't even comment on that. Jeez, March 18th. Live.